Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Sherisha, and on this channel I share lifestyle vlogs and sometimes travel when I get the chance to travel around. And if you're a regular, welcome back as always. It's nice to see you. So we are near to the end of 2022 and I have celebrated one whole year of living in Ghana. I've survived, oh my gosh, but what a year it's been, and what an amazing and very interesting journey it has been as well. So if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen I put up a story asking you guys to send in your questions, which some of you have kindly done for me. So I'm going to go through those questions now and start to give my honest opinion. And let me just remind you guys, this is my lived experience. So people need to remember that everyone's experience is going to be very different, but these are my honest truths, and that's what I'm here to do, to be honest, because I think sometimes with people's experiences and journeys, we like to share like elements of it, but at the end of the day there's like good and bad in everything, but it doesn't always have to be looked upon as something bad. It can be learning, it can be an experience to help you make better choices in the future and so forth. So if anything I say today can help someone else who may be transitioning into Ghana, might be living here already but they might be earlier on in their journey, then you know, this is all to assist you. Right, so the first question is, how are you doing? Well, I think it's probably a common thread when it gets to the end of the year. Everyone starts to feeling like tired and looking forward to like the Christmas break and stuff like that. I'm definitely looking forward to having some time off for Christmas. I think in general, like life has just been like go, go, go since moving to Ghana, and I haven't really taken like a proper holiday, because even going back to London, it was very much to sort out work and stuff like that, and just to make sure certain things was in order, sort out my visa and things like that. So it wasn't a break per se. I do genuinely feel like I still just need like a week off to travel somewhere, because living in a hot country, I think people get it kind of confused that to everyone else it looks like you're always on holiday. Yes, obviously there's elements of like going to the beach and stuff and things like that which are really enjoyable, but taking time out to proper like shut off from the world and just do holiday vibes is a very different thing. So I think now that I'm living in Ghana, as much as there's lots of amazing parts of Ghana to go and visit, I genuinely do feel like I just need a holiday out of Ghana, and just like take some time out. So I'm hoping, God willing, in the new year I'll be able to get away and just have a really like good like 10 days shut off, no social media, no phone, just go and have a break. Yeah, so that's how I've been feeling. And in general, I just like, I think there's just still so much to do, like coming back to Ghana for the second time round now, in terms of like going away for the summer to sort things out. Was my first time out of Ghana, and also my first time to really say to myself, is Ghana somewhere that I want to come back to and stuff like that. It was a good time to reflect and just kind of like figure out what I want to do. So coming back now, it's again, it's all systems going. Like if you're not careful and we're not taking care of our mental well-being and just, you know, generally like taking time out to rest, like life, like we get so accustomed to being busy, and I think like being busy all the time isn't a good thing. Like you like, I think struggling sometimes to be still, especially when you do content creation, like it can feel like you always gotta be tapped in, you've always gotta be. And lately I've just had to say to myself no, because there's things happening behind the scenes that I'm not yet to talk about. I've definitely had to just like be okay with like not always being present, and people can think what they want to think, oh, you're not consistent or whatever, but generally sometimes like life is genuinely happening and you just have to sort your stuff out. And it's not a negative thing, it's just that I find it hard to do multiple things at once well. That's why I guess it's good sometimes to really strip back and just hone in on what's important during that seasons, and understanding like balancing doesn't always have to be 50-50. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Still, I feel like I'm still settling in. Obviously, like the house still needs to be done and stuff like that. But in general, like I just still feel like, yeah, like I'm still in like a grind mode, trying to get my ish together and stuff like that. But we thank God, we're well, we're healthy, we're here, thriving and moving forward, and we're seeing changes and stuff happen. So that's, you know, we give God thanks. All right, so the next question is, what has Ghana taught you about yourself? That's a good question. I actually have to think about that. I feel like definitely Ghana has made me affirm that I love being in the sun. I need to live somewhere that's hot. I enjoy like outdoor space, and being able to access fresh food and stuff like that. So just, I think it's definitely affirmed for me that. So whether I stayed in Ghana or moved to somewhere else, it would have to definitely be somewhere like palm tree vibes, very hot, yeah, access to outdoor space, beaches, all that kind of stuff, nature. I think it's also just highlighting. Yeah, so I moved to London when I was 13, and I moved around about at least 4 or 5 times. So in general, I feel like I've always I've lived in different places. I've always kind of traveled and experienced different cultures from young. So yeah, it's just, I think those things just highlight to me that like I'm the type of person like living in the UK probably won't be for me on a long-term basis. It would be more like a base, have a place there to stay, and then like, but have a main home somewhere else. So yeah, that's definitely been like yeah, definitely I've affirmed that, yeah, I'm definitely someone that wants to live abroad. I just don't think UK is for me long term. What else I would say, I feel like for me, most of the things that it's taught me is just this highlighting like and affirming things that I already knew about myself. But I think as well, one thing it has taught me actually is just like to the ability to like not have this westernized ideology and to appreciate culture. Because I think coming to Ghana, especially as a Caribbean person, it's not to say that Caribbean people don't have culture, but I think a lot of our culture is watered down, and therefore sometimes it's hard as West Indians to really kind of like identify what our core cultures are. Whereas I think in African cultures, there's a lot of like culture embedded in everyday life. And it's just really fascinating to see that when you go to funerals and when you see like the dancing, and then when people explain to you what the drumming means, and like how the drumming is like the drums are talking, and when the person's doing like specific arm movements, and I just think it's like African culture is so enriched. And obviously we're all African, but obviously some of us we got you know, displaced and dispersed, and things obviously got hidden and stolen, and you have to really as an adult take a conscious effort to really kind of like teach, relearn these things. So yeah, I think being in Ghana, I really like appreciate like culture, community, because being in the West, sometimes you can really feel like you get used to like being isolated and doing things on your own, especially with the pandemic and everything like that. It made it easier to be quite like, you know, not really want to be a social, you know, it kind of got us into like a way of living that even when we got let out, it was like you kind of, it took a lot of effort to kind of try and get yourself back into some kind of like routine of being outside again, or just like communicating and meeting up with people and stuff like that. So yeah, I just love the fact that there's so much culture here. People are so helpful, and allowing yourself to let people help you, because I think that can be something as well. Like I'm quite a suspicious person of people. I'm always like, what do they want? Like what are they, especially coming here as well, like with an accent and stuff. Sometimes you always think like, what do they want from me? But I'm learning to like understand this is part of community. This is what it's normal that people band together and help you. And obviously, yes, use wisdom and know that some people are not genuine. However, a lot of the time, a lot of people are there to really help you, and they want to, you know, assist. So yeah, it's been really like refreshing to help me see how enriching the culture is, and even it has pushed me to want to learn more about like Africa and more about maybe where my ancestral lineage is from and stuff like that. So yeah, I keep saying it, I need to do my ancestry test and see what I come up with. Right, so the next question is, do you feel safer in Ghana or the UK? To be honest, I don't, I think sometimes I'm a bit more wearier in Ghana traveling alone as a woman, probably more than I am in the UK, but that's maybe just because I was brought up in the UK and I've never really had any issues like of, you know, God forbid, but like being robbed or anything like that. So I guess, and where I've lived and stuff like that, so I guess I don't really think of it like that. The only thing I do think of sometimes when you're traveling in the UK, in Ghana, sorry, is when you get stopped by the police. So it is a little bit intimidating because it's like in the UK I don't get stopped by the police and stuff like that. So in Ghana I've been stopped by the police in an Uber quite a few times, and it's like, what's the problem? Even in broad daylight. I think one time I was going to, I did a vlog on the Vim Fit exercise class, broad daylight, early hours of the morning, going in my gym gear near Labadi Beach. A police van with the open back one, and it's got like the armed police at the back. Literally, the windows of my Uber were up and they were tinted. So I was just like, what even made them stop this car? And they stopped the car, and one of them was like, obviously wound down the window to the driver. And then he's like, oh, we need to check your bag for contraband. And I was just like, what's happening here? And he's just got this big gun on the side of his body. And I was just thinking, wow, like this is a little bit like uncomfortable. And then because I had my camera with me and stuff, they were like, oh, are you going shooting? Are you going filming? I was like, no, I'm just going to do some exercise. Because then I don't know, even that, like, I've had my camera out a few times, and once my camera got taken by the police because they thought I was filming them and stuff like that. So I feel like it's not so much of a safety thing per se, but it puts me on edge a little bit, and I don't feel like I have those kind of experiences in London. Like I've mentioned on my channel before, our home was unfortunately burgled, which can happen anywhere. So it's not to say it doesn't happen in London. I mean, we've been seeing on social media all these mad people on bikes pretending to be Uber drivers, smashing people's cars, trying to take their watches and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess I've just had some more, I guess, intense experiences here than I have in Ghana. So I guess sometimes there's an air of caution that I probably take a little bit more on my travels in Ghana. To be fair, like nobody's ever been really like rude to me or anything. Like once they've established, you know, what the reason I'm being stopped for, I just comply as I would if I was in the UK, and then they go back their merry way. But yeah, that just makes you feel a little bit like, okay, cool. Why me and not someone else? Is it because I'm foreign? I don't know. Do you get what I mean? So you do have this kind of like, makes you a little bit, I guess, paranoid a bit. But yeah, I mean, I feel safe in Ghana. I feel safe in the UK. I wouldn't personally say one is safer than the other. I feel like the world that we're in right now, wherever you go, have precautions, do things the way you should. Because even if I live in the UK, I will have a ring alarm, I would have security cameras. Do you get what I mean? The only thing is that because you know, I've not had to look into having electric fence and stuff like that prior to living in Ghana, but people do have these kind of things in other countries as well. Do you get what I mean? Even in westernized countries. So yeah, I just think with anyway, just walk with a wisdom. Don't walk places that, you know, could make you a target, and obviously just be mindful of, like, if you do have your nice things wherever you are in the world, you're potentially a target for someone that believes they should have what you work hard for, and that's just unfortunate. So say a prayer, walk with caution, be wise as you walk the streets of this world, full stop. That's on period. Right, so the next question is, any upcoming collaborations? I've spoken to a few other YouTubers. you know, to maybe do some stuff. But I think I'm always about trying to be organic, because I do vlogs as well. I guess it's just a thing of like making sure it makes sense, because I just don't believe in like making content for the sake of it, like if it just doesn't feel natural. So I'll obviously prefer to link up with people that are aligned with what I do, but I don't really have any collaborations in mind. Who do you guys reckon I should collab with, if there is anybody out there? I'm not really into the interviews and all of that stuff, because I just don't feel like I'm at a space yet that I've got anything to offer. So I'm just more, if it's like, it makes sense, like it's travel or maybe lifestyle vlogs and stuff like that, then that would be cool. But yeah, if it's to sit down and be doing interviews, I'm just like, I don't know if life is saying anything like that yet to be doing anything of that nature. But yeah, if you think there's anyone that I should consider, leave a comment for me, at them in my comments, holler at them, let them know that I've got my channel, and maybe we can link up and see what's going on. Right, so the next question is, oh well, it says, it's not a question, just here to say we think you are cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment. So, got quite a few questions here. Right, so the next one is, did you know anyone before moving to Ghana? Yeah, actually a few people I know lived in Ghana already, but that wasn't like a factor in why I moved to Ghana, because it wasn't like our friendships were like strong, so that's why like I'd visited them here or whatever. It was just more of, oh, okay, I know so and so lives there, they've lived there for a few years, so I guess if I needed to ask anything, I could like literally holler at them and just seek some advice from them. But I think for me, a lot of things we watched on YouTube, obviously by now, if you're someone that regularly watches my channel, you know my partner, his family are from Ghana, they lived here. The house that we're staying in, his mum and dad built it, so we're fortunate that we don't have to pay rent and stuff like that. We just pay our living costs. So that was one of the main factors actually that pushed us to want to move to Ghana, because we had a place to stay, certain things were in place for us, so it made the transition a bit more smoother, because obviously renting and stuff like that, wherever you are in the world, it's a big expense, you know, especially when you're not sure exactly what you're doing. And to move all your stuff across the world and then realize maybe it's not for you, and then thinking what you're gonna do with your stuff, because things like storage and stuff like that here, it's not as established as back home. So at least we knew that if anything didn't work out for us, the house is the family house, and if there's stuff here, it just means when anyone wants to travel in, there's a place for them to, you know, shower, do their thing, eat, whatever, chill out. So it wasn't in vain. And obviously we have our flat in London, which is being rented out, so if we needed to go back, we just have to give our tenants notice, which is being managed by an estate agent. So yeah, it wasn't really about knowing anyone per se, but I feel like a big influence for us was an old Akon interview that my partner showed me, and Akon was talking to, I think he was talking to Noriega. I think it was with Noriega, if not Breakfast Club, but I think it was Noriega, and he was talking about like going back to Africa and how the opportunities that are available in Africa, not just Ghana, in Africa, like really can change your life and really make you a millionaire, billionaire in a more shorter space than it may be possible in the West. Obviously it depends on what you do, there's no one way to success. But it was just to say, like, we need to return home. There's just so much that needs to be done. And then obviously after that, we found Wadamaya, which I'm sure a lot of you know who Wadamaya is. And honestly, I feel like Wadamaya was like a very big catalyst in us wanting to come home, man. I don't think sometimes he probably does know the impact that he has on a lot of us from the diaspora, but I feel like sometimes, man, he doesn't know to the extent of what he has really done for a lot of us. Yeah, man, the inspiration that he just gave to us to really want to come to Ghana was crazy, especially during lockdown. So yeah, to answer your question, I've gone a bit off tangent, but yeah, I didn't know anyone like in the way I have like if you know my friend Adjua that's been on my channel, like we both came here to the same time, so it wasn't like she was already here, and because she's like a bona fide sister friend, so like if maybe she was here like before me, maybe that would have influenced me a bit more, but no, it was just more of like the reasons that I've explained really. Okay, so the next question is, which other African country would you choose to live apart from Ghana? Do you know, I'm not really sure. Like, I'm not really if I did say South Africa, it's only based upon what I see, because it obviously looks very westernized, and it's got like McDonald's and stuff like that, because sometimes I miss certain foods. But South Africa does look beautiful. It looks so stunning. Like I probably would consider maybe, yeah, SA. Maybe SA. I think I looked at some videos before, people showed like Namibia. It looks really nice as well. But I think I need to do more homework. I need to give you a proper honest answer. I'm not really sure. But potentially, yes, SA to give you something. The next question is, how is your overall experience in Ghana? Have we got time for this? Overall, my experience in Ghana, like when I go outside on my balcony and I just hear the palm trees and I feel the wind blowing, and like, especially after a hard day at work, I do really look around and I think, wow, God, thank you so much for blessing us with this opportunity to do something that we really wanted to do, and for really like blessing us with the infrastructure to enable us to be able to be as comfortable as possible here. I'll be honest, it's not easy, but in life, is anything really easy? And if it was easy, I guess it would be boring. It has had its challenges, like anything in life will have its challenges. Ghana has challenges, you know. I didn't really vlog those times because I think it was when I kind of first came back from London, but there was a time that ECG, all the like kiosks that you can top up your electric card, the systems were down and we were running on our last bit of electric. And to be in Ghana with no electric, yes, you've got a generator, but do you know how much like diesel and how that just can't work? To run a generator all day and night for days on end is just not gonna work, the kind of generator we got anyway. And I think in general, generators are like a backup. They're not meant to be like days on end. You'd come what may, you'd have to power it down, let it cool down, and do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, like things like that were so frustrating, because it's like ECG is the only electric company in Ghana, so it's like for that system to be down was wild. And I think they never really announced it, I don't think, but rumors, and well, not rumors per se, I think, yeah, information was there, but it wasn't as clear as day. But basically, I think their system got hacked and hackers took millions of dollars from them or something like that from the system, so that's why the systems were down. So it was crazy. And one day Pat, who's our house help, had to go and queue in some next part of town, and she was there for like 5-6 hours just trying to top up our electric card. It was wild. So when you get days like that, it is a bit like touch and go, because then you think to yourself, wow, like this is my house. Like when you think of places like hospitals and stuff like that, it kind of is a bit daunting. So yeah, there are some things like the infrastructure that is still quite frustrating, and when you want to get certain things done, it's just like some of the systems are just so like, it's almost like they just want to frustrate you. I don't understand. So there's some days when you're just like, oh, I just wish the systems were just a bit more like, and things were more like clear, like there was clarity. Like when you go on a website, things work, links work, documents work, being able to pay online works, and a lot of it is very manual intensive, and taking time off work is just not always affordable for me. So yeah, it can just be like a little bit like ugh. But at the same time, yeah, I really don't regret coming to Ghana, and I feel like there's something in my spirit that I feel like God always says to me, and the vision is always bigger than us. And I think that's why as people, we always need to have that in our mind. Like sometimes if it wasn't for like my grandparents coming from the West Indies to the UK, would I have the benefits that I have to enjoy to the systems of the UK, even though I may come back and forth from Ghana to London, but I still can access the NHS, I can still access certain systems and things like that. So it's like, you have to deep that when you do something, you're pioneering for not just yourself, but your generations around you and those that are to come. And I think you gotta kind of deep those things even when you go through your challenges, and to remember why you're doing it. Because I want to be in a position where my children and my legacy is more than just like sitting in London. Do you get what I mean? So I think when I think of my overall Ghana experience, I just think of like the hope of like building something, establishing a life here, and being able to build a legacy that will impact many, even if they're not my family. Do you get what I mean? And be able to be a blessing to people. So I think it's just like, that's how I deep kind of my Ghana experience, that I know why I did this. I know that like I'm that connect now, that I've got little ones around me that are growing up, and I can say to them, well, come and visit auntie in Ghana, come and see Africa, come and see a part of who you are as a black person. This is where your ancestry come from. Like, people in Africa are living well, like there's wealth here, there's things to establish yourself. Like, you don't just have to stay in the West to be successful in this world. So I think it's just important, like when we are doing things, that we're thinking of that impact. So yeah, so far, you know, I just give God thanks, because I really have a peace here, and I genuinely say that with my whole heart. It's not a fake thing. Ghana to me is more than Dirty December and more than turn up. It's just, it helps my mental well-being on a level that I'm so grateful for, because I just felt like in the UK I just was just coexisting, man, honestly. So yeah, I just feel like even though things are still, you know, taking time, I'm not there yet, but I know one day, man, I'm gonna really look back and be like, wow, man, I thank God that, you know, we had the strength and the courage to make the move. So for those of you that, you know, are thinking about making a move, even to Africa, or to visit, or to bring your family or your children to visit, I really encourage it, because I think like it gives you a sense of belonging, and I think it gives you a sense of strength, and encouragement that, you know, we're more than just the narrative of slavery, which we're often taught. Right, so the next question is, any upcoming business plans in Ghana? So yeah, definitely a big part of moving to Ghana was looking at a business. I mean, in general, I'm very entrepreneurial by nature. I feel like from GCSE business studies, I've always said I wanted to be my own boss. Even sometimes I reflect and think I just should have done so much more and had so much more courage to do things earlier in my years, but we thank God we're still at an age that, you know, we can still make moves and still have a fulfilled life. So definitely working on something. As always, you know, when things are premature, it's not something to talk about yet, because I just feel like you need to get yourself established before you start kind of like talking on what you're doing. But yeah, there's some things in motion. As we know, this is a whole new system for us, so there's a lot to learn. So I think definitely, you know, when I get to a point where I'm able to share, I would like to be able to give information and advice on some of the kind of like things that need to be done to set up businesses in Ghana, because I think that's something, a lot of the content that I find is a year old, and as we know, even within a day things can change. So I think it's really it would be really good to kind of give people some more current information on like what's needed to set up a business in Ghana, especially if you're not someone that's Ghanaian, and then if you have got someone that's Ghanaian doing it with you, how does that work, what does that look like, sort of thing. So I'll definitely keep you guys posted in the near future, I pray, when things are a bit more established, and stuff like that. So, and it's not food, by the way, we're not doing food, because a lot of people ask me why don't I do Caribbean food here. I'm really just not a lover of cooking like that. I think you've really got to do things that you're passionate about, because on your worst day you still need to find the strength to be able to get up and do that. And on my worst day, I'm lucky if I even cook myself something. So it's not food. And also I just think when I wanted to do business this time, I always think sometimes if you see on Instagram, you might have seen this meme where the guy's like, think big bitch, and I'm like, that's what I'm at. Like, I'm in that part of my life now where I'm like, think big, girl. Like, don't limit yourself. Like, it's so easy sometimes coming from the UK, you know, as black people, what do? Hairdressers, barbers, food shops, like certain things we just kind of like fall into. And there's no shade in it, I don't mean it in that way, but I'm like, there's the tech world, there's medicine, there's just so much like infrastructure, roads. It's just like, the world is so multifaceted. Like, I just don't want to stay in a small lane, and I'm trying to think as well, like, of businesses that are scalable. Like, I wanna build something that can be put up and someone could be like, I want to buy out your business. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm trying to think big, bitch. I'm trying to think big. Right, so the last question is, because there's a few which are similar. It's like, are we going to stay? Are you going to do another year in Ghana? Well, I'm here, and as long as, you know, things continue to work in a way that works for us, then we're here for the foreseeable until, you know, life changes again and its dynamics. But yeah, we're definitely trying to make Ghana our hub, and we're definitely trying to establish a strong foundation here in Ghana. So I'm here to stay for now. Right guys, so that's the end of my 1 year Q&A of life here in Accra, surviving in these Accra streets. Thank you so much for your support as always. I did actually have my 1 year anniversary of being in a YouTuber in August, so just thanks to everybody for the continued support, comments, engaging with my content. It means a lot to me, and I just pray that, as you know, I continue to keep doing my thing, kakra, small, because sometimes it's not as much as I would want, but you know, this community of followers will continue to grow. But do comment below as well and let me know what kind of content you want to see more from me. And yeah guys, just wishing everybody a Merry Christmas and a prosperous, healthy, happy and successful 2023. Even if this year has been a challenge for you, keep going. And if there's something that you really want to do, like, I'm just encouraging you, man, you live this life once, go for it. Do the planning that you need to do, but do it, like, do it. Come and visit Africa, travel, whatever it is that you want to do, start a business, just like go for it. And honestly, man, you won't regret it. And seasons change. What you might like today, you might not like tomorrow, but it doesn't matter. In that moment, do what sets your soul on fire. So thanks so much guys, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.